All right, let's just dive right in. We're about to pull back the curtain on something so fundamental to our lives, a question we almost never stop to actually ask ourselves. No, seriously, take a second and think about it. That job you're chasing, that city you want to move to, that new hobby you suddenly picked up. Where did that desire actually come from? Well, the answer is way more surprising and honestly a lot less personal than you might think. You tell yourself, oh, it's for my fitness, it's a personal challenge, but isn't it a little funny how you and a bunch of your friends all magically got the same idea at the exact same time? Yeah, the logic was sound, right? You were home more, it was the perfect opportunity, but you were also seeing a nonstop Instagram feed of cute puppies from literally everyone you knew. You're convinced it's the best tool out there. You've seen the data. But it's kind of funny how that data seems to be pointing everyone you admire in the exact same direction, isn't it? See, this is the default story we all tell ourselves. It's simple. I see a thing, I want the thing. It's a straight line. I'm the captain of my own ship, the master of my own desires. Well, according to this brilliant French thinker, René Girard, that whole idea that our desires are totally original and spontaneous is the great lie of modern life. It feels real, it feels authentic, but it's a story that conveniently leaves out the most important part of the equation. Because here's the truth. The path from you to the thing you want is never a straight line. It's a triangle. It's always routed through someone else. A model. This means your dream job might have less to do with your deep-seated passion and more to do with that one professor you really admired back in college. So, what is a model? A model is that person or group who makes something desirable just by wanting it themselves. Think about it. You walk into a thrift store, there are 1,000 shirts on the racks, and you feel nothing. But then, your super stylish friend gasps, runs over, and pulls one out. All of a sudden, that's not just a shirt anymore. It's the shirt. Your friend, the model, just transformed it for you. And get this. This is not some newfangled social media thing. Shakespeare was writing about this 400 years ago. We're creatures who learn what to want by watching others. We choose our jobs, our hobbies, and yeah, even who we fall in love with through another's eyes. Okay, so we copy our desires, but you might be thinking, all right, I get it, but what about basic needs? Food, water, surely those are my own. Well, this is where the line between what we need and what we desire gets really messy. We love to imagine our needs fitting into this nice, clean pyramid, right? Thanks, Maslow. Food at the bottom, self-actualization at the top. But the reality is, most of our waking life is spent in that tangled, chaotic mess on the right. That's the world of desire, and it's not driven by biology, it's driven by imitation. This imitation, or mimesis, is so powerful, it can take the most basic need of all, water, and turn it into a status symbol. You're not just thirsty, you want that specific brand of bottled water you saw some influencer drinking, because you believe it says something about who you are. And that's the absolute key to this whole thing. It is almost never about the object itself. We don't just want the Tesla. We want the state of being we associate with the person who drives it, the coolness, the success, the feeling of being ahead of the curve. This is what we call metaphysical desire. We're not chasing things, we're chasing identities. But here's the thing. Not all models are created equal. The distance between you and your model changes absolutely everything. It creates two totally different psychological worlds, or as our source material calls them, a tale of two stands. First, you've got Celebristan. This is the world of models who are far away, external to your day-to-day life. Think Elon Musk, a historical figure like Napoleon, or a movie star. There's a huge gap between you and them. You can be inspired by them, for sure, but you can't really compete with them. It's a peaceful kind of desire. But then there's Freshmanistan. This is the world of models who are right there with you. Your coworkers, your neighbors, your siblings. There's no safe distance here. You're in the same world, going after the same promotions, the same social status, the same recognition. And that's exactly why this world becomes a hotbed of rivalry, jealousy, and conflict. And this brings us to a huge, crucial insight about modern life. What happens when our entire society starts to look more and more like one giant Freshmanistan? Well, here's the wild paradox. Our best ideals, things like fairness, equality, democracy, they all work by tearing down old hierarchies. They tell us that anyone can be anything, but in doing that, they erase those safe distances that keep our mimetic rivalry in check. They put all of us on the same giant competitive playing field. And what's the ultimate machine for flattening everything? You guessed it, social media. It doesn't just put us on the same playing field. It shrinks that field down to the size of a phone screen. It takes all our friends, our peers, and our frenemies and puts them right in our face 24/7, serving up an endless buffet of new desires and new rivalries. It's a nonstop feed of models. Let's just be blunt about it. All social media is Freshmanistan. It is a system built from the ground up to make us want what the people just like us have. It creates this constant, low-grade buzz of anxiety and competition. Every like is a tiny vote for what's desirable. Every vacation photo is a new thing to want. It's the mimetic machine perfected. Okay, so I know this all might sound a little bleak, right? A world of unconscious copying, all supercharged by technology. Which leads to the obvious question: what are we supposed to do about it? Well, the first thing to understand is that you can't cure mimetic desire. It's not a bug, it's a feature. It's literally how we learn to be human, how we learn language, culture, everything. So the goal isn't to become some kind of totally authentic individual, because that's impossible. The goal is just to become aware of how it works. You know, the psychologist Catherine M. Frost puts it perfectly. She says the way forward is through acceptance. Instead of pretending we're these rugged individuals who make all our own choices, we just have to acknowledge that we are deeply, inescapably shaped by the people around us. And that awareness, well, that's the first step toward real freedom. So we end by flipping that first question completely on its head. The most important question you can ask yourself isn't, what do I want? It's, who is showing me what to want? Figure that out, and you'll be on the path to really understanding yourself.